The goal of this video is to work on understanding the gender of nouns, los sustantivos. Nouns can be described as masculine or feminine. Nouns that refer to human beings are easier to deal with because nouns that refer to males are by default masculine nouns. For example, el hombre, que significa man, el chico, que significa guy. Nouns that refer to women, on the other hand, will also be by default feminine nouns. For example, la mujer, que significa woman. La chica, que significa girl. Right. Now, nouns that refer to things, those are going to be a little bit trickier. We got to do a little bit more work with those. So, here's the concept. We'll start with masculine nouns. Right. For example, the word papel significa paper, libro significa book, ratón, computer mouse, and it can also mean mouse also. Pupitre, student's desk, doctor, doctor, mes, month. Right. All of these nouns right here are masculine nouns. But let's think about it. If I'm looking at a piece of paper, I can't look at the paper and say, oh, this is a girl paper, or nope, it's a boy paper. No, it's a thing. Things don't have gender in that sense. These are just tricks for you to understand really the article that goes along with the noun. Native speakers don't even think about it this way. We don't think about it that way. It's just like, you learn your vocab and you automatically know papel is el papel, so it's a masculine noun. We don't look at all of these little tricks that I'm showing you. These are because this concept does not exist in English. So you gotta have a way of being able to identify them on your own. Simplify. All right, so the idea is that we will think loners. We're looking at the last letter in the noun, right? So papel, it's an L, so it's gonna be a masculine noun. Libro, it's an O, it's going to be a masculine noun as well, and so on. So think loners. Again, you're looking at the last letter of the noun. Another thing to keep in mind is that the noun has to be in its singular form. All these little tricks that I'm showing you won't work, okay? So it has to be in the singular form. All right. Now let's talk about feminine nouns. I will have a little trick for that one too. So here's some examples of masculine nouns. Pared, the word for wall. Estación, the word for season. Nariz, the word for nose. Semana, the word for week. Again, these are examples of feminine nouns. So with the feminine nouns, we're going to think dianza. Dianza. All right, same idea. We're still looking at the last letters. The noun has to be in its singular form. Now, if you have a noun that ends in "in," you need to look past the "in." Look at the last three letters because it could be loners, right? If it's just the "in," then we know it's a masculine noun. But if it's "ion," then it's going to be, more than likely, it's going to be a feminine noun, okay? And the article that goes along with those is la. So, la pared, la estación, and so on. All right. Now, let's talk about some of the nouns, like the ones that refer to professions. Usually with those, we just add a letter A, and that's how we can change it from the masculine form to the feminine form. So here's some examples. El doctor, la doctora. El profesor, la profesora. El escritor, la escritora. There will be some exceptions to these rules. For example, the word for pencil, el lápiz, even though it ends in Z and it would fall under dianza, is actually a masculine noun. The word for el day, which is el día, again, it's an A. You think dianza, feminine, but it is actually a masculine noun. All right. The word for night, la noche, it's an E, but it's actually feminine. And then the word for hand, mano, it's an O, but it's actually feminine, so la mano. All right. the good thing is most of the nouns that we will learn will follow this rule, and we'll be able to utilize loners in the answer to identify whether they're masculine or feminine. Whenever we learn new vocab, we'll specifically look for those exceptions, so we'll know, hey, this one is going to be a little bit different, okay? All right. There are also some nouns that end in ma that tend to be masculine. So here's some examples. The word for el programa, which means program, el problema, which means problem. So again, even though it ends in a, these are masculine. Right? There are some nouns that refer to people that the only way for us to know if it refers to a male or a female is by looking at the article. So here's a good example. Estudiante. Right? If it's el estudiante, then we know it's a male student. If it's la estudiante, then we will know it's a female student. Right? That's it for this video.